Welcome. Boy, that's pretty good. Now we need to dim the lights. It seems really bright in here. So I'm Lynn, Nino, and this is Tripod. They happen once a month on the third Friday. I wasn't here last month, and I finally figured out why it felt like ages since I'd been here. It's because I wasn't here. So the bathrooms, there's one back here and another one downstairs. And there's a Tripod email sign-up list back on that table. Leslie is holding it up. So if you're not already on the list, please sign that. I want to introduce Anna Thurston, who helps with these tripods. Do you want to?
I got my moment. We have leftover volcano magazines from last month, if you would like one. This is it. But otherwise, I will be walking around the room with a microphone. When the presentation, each presenter is done, you'll get to ask questions, and I hope you'll wait for me to arrive with the microphone so that everybody can hear your question, so that we can record it, because we are recording for YouTube. Thank you for being here.
Yes, these evenings are recorded and put on YouTube, and usually takes about a week. And so you can refresh your memory and look at them again over and over and over. Okay, our first speaker tonight is Erik Perrohe. He's also our tech, and he's got somebody helping upstairs tonight so that he can present his show. He took his first picture when he was 4 years old while on a family vacation in Yosemite. He was captivated by the idea that a small little box could capture an image simply by pushing a button. Erik has pushed a lot of buttons in his lifetime. He has mostly worked as a computer programmer. He is now retired and working part-time as an audio engineer, which he enjoys greatly. Erik is also learning how to draw and paint. Erik perhaps has a unique way of looking at things. He perceives motion in terms of dynamic flow of energy and attempts to capture peak moments of that energy. Erik is inspired by a great many artists such as Van Gogh. He also grew up reading National Geographic magazine and one time had aspired to become an NGO photographer, but ended up with a computer career instead after he fell in love with computers when he was in the 7th grade. Erik?
Hello. Lights, please. Ronald? Lights down. The here.
He also specializes in lighting.
And also maybe dim the stage light too, please. Okay, great. So this is only my third time doing a presentation, so I'm figuring out. But normally I'm in the loft, and tonight my friend Ronald is helping out, so so that I could be here. Okay, photography. There we go. Yeah, that's good. The trick is the trick is to have enough light for the camera, but not so much light that it's interfering with the screen. So it's hard to find that balance point, but that's probably too low. But, okay, so moving right along. I went to a rodeo, and I had seen rodeos on TV when I was a kid. And I'd always wanted to go to one, but they were always someplace far, far away. And then I found out about this one in Enumclaw. And I got all excited, and I went. And then I started taking pictures. And and people talk about, this isn't my first rodeo. Well, in this case, it was my first rodeo. But I was very interested in how the animals were being treated, because I know that can be a very controversial issue. So I was looking a lot at how the animals were doing. They were very relaxed, very calm, not stressed out at all. And it could be that they realized that this is all a game. And for the calves, I think they kind of get the idea it's a game. These are the guys that run the place. They're down there in the arena deciding what happens next. And those are the directors. So, next. Oh, these are, whoops, too far. These are really ornate boxes that they keep their lassos in. It's a very special kind of rope. And they have these very special fancy boxes that they keep their ropes in. I'm not sure what the technical term for the rope is. It's the circle that you make is a lasso, but what they call the rope, I don't know. But it's really special. And then they have all these flags, and I was going to show you some pictures of the flag people, because they did this really elaborate thing, but I have to skip over it because we just don't have the time for it. They really love their horses, though. Here's the flag people coming in. They do a really elaborate show, and then they come around with the flag and such, and then we're off to our first event. This was Friday night. They do this every year. I think it's Labor Day weekend, something like that. And this is the first event of the first day of the rodeo. And the two most dangerous parts are coming out of that chute, because in this case, the horse is trying to bang him against the gate. The horse wants him off. And so coming out of the chute is very dangerous. And dismounting from the animal is the other dangerous part. And the rest of it, you're just hanging on for dear life. So this guy gets quite the workout. And I'm going to go pretty fast because I've got a lot of pictures. And so if you see something you want to look at, just holler and I'll pause or I'll even back up. Now right here, this guy's got a problem because this horse is determined to get rid of him, and it is deliberately going to run into this fence. And so he's trying to bail out. But what happens is that his hand gets tangled up somehow, and he gets caught on the horse. He's actually through the fence at this point. And now he's trying to get off of the horse, but his hand is hung up. And so now the horse is flying around the arena with him hanging on. Well, he's not actually hanging on, he's caught. So he's stuck on. So they go around and round. And there were actually about 30 pictures in this sequence, but I'm skipping over most of them because we just don't have the time. But they've done a full circuit of the arena and come all the way back. And he's still hanging in. Now, if you look at these guys that are running in there, that's getting into, the title that I gave to this is Poetry in Motion, Cowboy Ballet. And when you watch these guys moving, you'll get an idea of what I'm referring to as far as the ballet goes. It's really an amazing thing to see people moving rapidly and making direction changes, fast direction changes. and such. Look at particularly this guy on the, that would be your right, and how his whole body language, and the guy in the red too. So I love this kind of dynamic action sequence. And they're going around the circle again. And he's still caught. And again, you see how the fellow in red, he's just flying, and they finally get the horse under control. They actually went around like 3 times, I believe, before they finally got the horse. And here's the horse, triumphant and and victorious. And here's the cowboy. They're about to carry him off the field. The ambulance did not take him to the hospital, though. And he did actually try to walk a few steps, but ultimately he let them carry him off. And now here's the director telling this guy, "You're next." And while they're carrying him off, so you can imagine what's going through his head. And then I skipped over a bunch of that. And these guys are amazing. These are the true heroes of the show because they're running around getting control of the horses and helping the riders dismount. Right now, this guy's ride is finished. Now he has to get off of the horse. And that's what this other fellow has come up there to help him get off safely. And then we're on to another one. I had to skip over a whole bunch of stuff because it's just too much. But this guy looks like he's about to lose it. But somehow or other, right here you think he's done. But he manages to hang on and he's still going. And in fact, the horse actually surrenders and stops bucking. But then it starts running really, really fast. And so now we're off to the calf roping. And so roping is just an extraordinary thing because the horse is moving, the rope is moving, and the calf is moving. And they're all going in different directions. And you somehow have to control that rope and get it around the head of the calf. And for a human brain to be able to process those dynamics and actually make that happen is just really an incredible feat. And you also see how the horse is working with him. The horse is leaning into the rope and pulling on the calf. These horses are highly trained, and they are as much a part of the event, the skill, is as much the horse as it is the cowboy. And then once he got it, he's having trouble corralling the calf. This one was a bit harder to deal with. Most of them, once you get them on the rope, they give in and you can tie them off. But that guy kept running around and getting away from him, and so finally. Now this mechanism is really intriguing, and we're back to the director that's running the show, but just a quick slide of that. And now we're off to calf wrestling. So I don't know why anybody would want to jump off of a perfectly good horse, but they do. And so he's going to try to grab this calf without a rope and just wrestle it down to the ground, except it didn't work out too well for him. But it's really an intriguing system, the way this is all set up. Here's another guy. Oh, we're on to team roping now. That's where we have 2 people roping the calf. So one ropes the head of the calf, and the other one puts a rope around the leg of the calf, or, well, wait. No, sorry, my mistake. He's jumping off his horse too. Another wrestler. This is the guy that actually succeeds. I put one of each on there, yeah. So he jumps off of his perfectly good horse, and and he gets the calf. So here we go. Now we're on the team roping. So we get a rope around the head of the calf, and then this other guy, incredibly, puts a rope around the feet of the calf. And then they pull, and they score. Their score is based on how long it took them to get to that point. So, and here's another one. And, yeah, I didn't do the whole sequence. It's late at night now, and it's dark, and I'm having trouble getting good images because of the lack of light. But so this sequence was blurry, but I love the way that this particular slide with the rope coming in from the right side and the other one coming around, I felt that was pretty good. But anyway, and this is the behind the scenes of all these guys waiting for their turn. I just thought it was an interesting composition with everybody sitting there. And now we're off to bulls. And this is the first bull ride of the night. And he gets quite the ride out of it. It's really interesting. I started doing research I was trying to figure out about the history of rodeos and where it actually came from and such. And it was like going down the rabbit hole, the Alice in Wonderland style. Oh my gosh. So the last cow paintings, here, let me back up. Whoops, back. Why isn't this going backwards? There. Okay. The cave paintings in France are somewhere around, one version I read said they were 17,000 years old. Another one said it was 32,000 years old. I'm not sure which one to believe, but nonetheless, really old. And they were really into bulls. Our whole culture, humans, have been just incredibly involved with bulls. And we actually started, breeding them, I guess, about 10,500 years ago. The modern cow that we have now was derived from an auroch, and about 10,500 years ago is when we started changing the bulls into what they are now. And this guy, he didn't want to go into the ring, but what I especially like, you look at that little kid back there looking at the bull. I thought that really made the picture. Now we're off to barrel racing, and I just really love the barrel racing. They're really amazing. Maybe not as dramatic as the roping, but still, you have all this speed and precision. And this person, they could be sitting on a couch. They're just so totally relaxed. And yet their horse is just running like crazy and all this motion. And yet here they are completely at ease. Whoops. Why is this thing's being a little erratic here? Here we go. Okay. Just about to the end. And then they go speeding off and pretty calm, collected, and this furious pace. And here's another one that's, it's just very calm and centered, possessed. And I love this picture. She is so serene. You know, they're running at a furious pace and just this total look of serenity. And that is actually where I end. So. The wireless mic, Ronald? Yep. Great.
This is your chance to ask questions, and Lynn has one.
Erik, you managed to get a lot of those pictures by stopping the action somehow, even though they're going fast. What are you shooting with?
Do you want to know the ISO speed or what kind of camera or what?
Shooting with a telephone or a camera?
Oh, I have a very wonderful camera. It's a Fuji X-T4, and the ISO speed was probably 6400. Towards the end there, I had to bring the ISO up to 12,800 because it was so dark. But then it gets kind of grainy when you do that. But it's a wonderful camera, and a zoom lens that is, I don't know, it goes out to about 350 equivalent zoom. So it's like a 50, 250, but you have a conversion factor. So okay.
Not really a question, but can I just add a little bit of information on the bunking Broncos at the very beginning, the one that guy that was dragging around? They're not really bucking because the guy's on his back. They're bucking because the guys in the stall have brought this rope around their withers.
Right.
And it's really, really irritating to them. And so they're just kicking like crazy. Well, the problem was they couldn't get it off. You could see in all of his cycle around the whole thing, they couldn't get that particular one. As soon as they got it off, he's just walking around like, I don't care what's going on. So it's same thing with the bulls. The bulls are really, really mad because but it's interesting that the guy's hand got stuck because it's only a grip. It must have gone through or something really weird.
Well, I'm not sure what to make of it because I read a book quite a while ago that was written by a rodeo clown, and he was talking about how some of these guys will tie their hand on because they're just so determined that they're not going to lose their grip, and then it becomes a huge problem like this. And it's basically a rookie mistake because you always want to plan your exit strategy. And and so that was my initial thought here. But then more recently, I watched a different rodeo on YouTube, actually. I discovered they're on YouTube now. And there were some extremely experienced riders that were also getting caught in the rope. And so I'm pretty sure they didn't do that intentionally. And so I don't know what to make of this situation. All I can do is observe what happened. But yes, it's a really bad idea.
Any other questions? Good job, Erik.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So the theme of the shows tonight are art that is fleeting. So we put a rodeo in that idea. Erik?
Oh, yes. One more thing I forgot to mention. I made some mugs with different photos on them, and they're going to be, after this is over, you can come check out a mug.
Erik, are they for sale?
Yes, they're for sale.
And how much are they? 15? Okay. And so they pick up a mug and then they hold it up to the window and say, I'm down here with $15 for you?
Sure.
Something like that.
I think I'll probably run
Okay. Are they out now?
That's what the boxes of mugs are. That were on the table.
Okay.
So there's mugs in the back here on the my right side at the back of the room, and I believe they include Erik's pictures on them. So he's baked those images into the mugs. They're pretty special, and it looks like they are rodeo images.
Some of them are rodeo, some of them are other things. So there's a squirrel, and there's some paintings that I did that I turned into a box.
Before I introduce our next guest speaker, I've been asking for pictures of pets so that we can have a collaborative slideshow. And the show itself isn't scheduled yet. It'll be the whole show centered around pets. So if you are on the email list and you haven't sent me a picture of your pet, go ahead and do it. And I'm hoping for a picture of a lizard or a squirrel or something unusual, because right now we have a lot of cats and dogs. Okay. So Wendi, our next presenter, lives life with intention and passion. As an avid traveler, she has volunteered to teach English in Guatemala, Kenya, India, Cambodia, and Thailand. She has turned left when tourists turned right to delve into the lives of the locals in lesser-known world communities. Through photography, she has captured the world from many perspectives. She is passionate about social justice issues and volunteers regularly at the Welcome Center and the Northwest Detention Center, helping newly released immigrants navigate a new, uncharted world. After flunking retirement 3 times, Wendi thinks it may stick this time. Her 42-year teaching career spanned from K-12 to college teaching. Her hands-on teaching philosophy led to many special memories, from spelunking in the Ape Caves with her 9th grade Washington history students to rock climbing with her TCC ESL adult education students. She encouraged students to reach beyond the usual. Her 9th grade world cultures classroom was scented with student-painted murals and an African hut. While teaching middle school special education, Wendi got a grant to build a greenhouse and grow plants for nursing home residents. She found ways to integrate art, music, and dance into her curriculum. When she brought a pair of tap shoes into her classroom at Sunny Slope Elementary School, the magic exploded. Today, you will hear her enthusiasm and passion for making students thrive through her recess tappers.
Okay, I just need a, hopefully I can press this button right. Okay, as a teacher, everybody gets to stand up for just a minute because we need to stretch at some point. So if you're capable and want to try it before we get going on this program, you're gonna just take your left or your right foot and I had knee surgeries 6 weeks ago, so we're gonna have a little different demo. You're gonna brush forward and back, and forward and back. Brush forward and back. Again, brush forward, back, forward, back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, switch. Forward, back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn it around. All right, we have to get up and stretch, right? So hopefully we'll press this right. It started with this pair of tap shoes on my desk at Sunny Slope Elementary School. I was teaching 4th, 5th, 6th grade special ed, and one of my students, Josh, came up and said, can I try those? And of course I said, yes. Within 3 weeks, what happened was the recess tappers were born. Twice a week, kids would come into the classroom at recess. I happened to be in a portable, so you know what that means. What? What else? You can be noisy because there's nobody out there but me and my recess tappers. So we ended up, my 6th grade co-teacher was the cobbler, and we ended up with 40 pair of donated shoes, starting with this set of tap shoes. So kids would come in at recess, put on their tap shoes, and we'd start going. And this is Josh. He was a 6th grader. He was one of my special ed kids that read at a 1st grade level when he first started with me. By the time we finished the year, he was reading at 5th grade level. And I believe the tap dancing was a part of it. So I also, while I was teaching elementary special ed, I was doing part-time math at TCC. And Magda was one of my students, and she struggled a lot with math, but she was this incredibly innovative woman. And she worked at the Washington State Museum. And she said, I mentioned something about tap dancing, and I don't know how it tied into my math class, but it did. And she said, why don't they come to the Washington State Museum and perform for MLK Day? And I said, I think that's a great idea. So my friend Jim created t-shirts for the kids. Home Depot donated 4x8 pieces of wood. The kids painted the pieces of wood, and we had tap boards, and we used PVC pipe to do our tap dancing with, and they decorated that. So these are 3 of my active gentlemen. All of a sudden, people were coming in because it was noisy at recess, and they would come in, and so sometimes the tap poles became other activities as well. So it became beyond my special ed group. It became a community of kids that would drop in and tap dance. And we decided the goal was to perform at the Washington State Museum. So here are some of the kids that performed. Give me a word that would describe this picture. Somebody.
Joyous.
Let's hear more.
Happy.
Happy, what else?
Awesome.
That's what it was like. Every day they came in to do this. And there's Josh and TJ. TJ came to Sunny Slope as a foster kid. He was always in trouble. He was the one kid that was challenged in academic areas and behaviorally. He came to tap dance, and you'll see how he evolved. TJ is on the right, and Josh is on the left. And here's some of the girls. So what did I have them do? We had to go do a performance at the Washington State Museum. So I decided I was going to go down to the costume shop at 6th Avenue in Tacoma and see if I could rent some tuxedos for the boys. I go into the shop, and they said, I'm going to ask you how much you think. I could have the pants, the jacket, the cummerbund, the shirt, the bow tie, everything. And I said, is this the rental price? And they said, no. They were brand new Armani suits. How much?
$1,500.
I got 6 of them. How much? per suit. Remember, I paid for it as a teacher, you know what that's like. $15 per Armani suit. But what you have to know is Armani suits or tuxedos don't come hemmed. So I just grabbed all 6 of whatever they had. My kids are 4th, 5th, 6th graders, and these were adult suits, so we didn't know what was going to happen. But the deal was all the boys had to hem one pant leg. So the kindergarten teacher, who was much more of a seamstress than I was, said she would do that. So these 6th grade, 5th grade boys are sitting in kindergarten chairs sewing their pant legs. So what happened? Say it. They sewed the pant leg together. They pull it up, and they're so excited, and they're ready to try it on, but the leg is sewn together. So this is TJ, so proud of his pant leg. And there is Josh. So then, what does Josh ask me when he puts this on? What is the question Josh asked me? The super athlete, the kind of stud of the school, what does he ask?
Can I keep it?
Can I keep it? Yes, that was one. What else? Can I take the picture? One more.
How do I look?
How do I look? One more.
Does it fit?
Can I wear it to recess? That was the level of pride that they felt. And I said, we're performing in 3 days. No, you can't wear it to recess. So there it was, Washington State Museum. These kids were from Port Orchard, many of them from low-income homes who hadn't been out of Port Orchard. So their families joined us. I brought food for breakfast in the morning. The families drove them across to the Washington State Museum for the performance. This is me getting ready for the performance. Give me the words that describe that picture. Proud. Proud. A little louder.
Proud.
What else?
Happy. Excited.
And they fit. Look at that. Who would have thought? Just take a minute. Turn around to somebody. Talk to them about those pictures. Talk to somebody about it. What did you hear? What did you hear? Somebody, what did you hear from each other?
That you're a great teacher.
Including tonight.
Very pleased with themselves.
So suddenly tap dancing became cool. TJ, the kid from foster care that had been in a dozen different ones. And he became the star of the show. And he became the star of the show. There are some video clips. Were you able to pull those off? Eric, there's some video clips that were put in there. Were you able to pull those? Yeah. So I had Okay, so if you could pop one of those in so you can see a little more magic.
Tell you a little bit about how this came to be. Wendi sent out just a very brief email saying that she has these kids that are at school and they want to start tapping. And would anybody like to donate to the tapping? Well, we all just responded with, yeah, let's do this, let's do this. Before we knew it, it was one child tapping, and now this group that has never tapped before, who have come together, who have learned music and history and tap, and it's really, really exciting. So I want you to give them a hand of applause before they start.
So this is Magda, my math student. She did pass her math class. We worked a lot. At other times to get her through the math, but she was a gift to all of us. And there's TJ. So those were the three boys you had seen before. And there's a couple more, and I know they're not very clear, but I think you get the magic of it. So we're going to try. There's another clip. So this is in the entry of the Washington State Museum. So we were right there during MLK Day. And some of the songs that they presented were from Louis Armstrong. And that was TJ. And there's a last clip. The very last one, Erik, please, with the little kid with a cap. The red. We'll see if we can get that last one. So 15 years later, when I flunked retirement, I went back and did a leave replacement at Discovery Elementary School during COVID. This is not it. This is the end of that one. We'll give you one little piece of this one. Do you find that last one with the kid with? Okay. So this was my second flunking of retirement, and I did a leave replacement in special ed at Discovery Elementary School. And one of my students was had special needs that had many, many behavioral and emotional challenges. And I had my pair of tap shoes on my desk, and he came in at recess and put them on. And magic happened. He was a kid that was very difficult to control in the classroom and had a lot of behavioral challenges, and you added COVID on top of that. But the magic happened, as you can see. Thank you.
Question. It's hard to top that with questions, really. I see a question in the back coming up. Thank you.
I understand some with social and emotional learning challenges may become overstimulated in some environments. Did you ever run into this as you're teaching tap, and how did you adapt to those environments, if so?
Often, they just shined when it was music. And I think what was different with tap is I would teach them a couple shuffles and a couple things, but I would just put on music. And so it wasn't structured in a way that other dance classes or movement was. I would get a two-foot stool. They would jump off of it. Even during the performance, they each got to do their own things. And so it didn't get overstimulating for them. And often I would have a couple kids just come in on their own so that the noise of the tap, but they almost got into a world where they could be totally free because they'd be up there tapping and the rest of the world, they could do anything they wanted. And that was the beauty of tap dancing. You didn't have to know a lot and you can make a lot of noise. And we had one student that was another student that was a foster student with a lot of behavioral problems, and he became like the tap star. He wasn't in this set of slides, but kindergartners would follow him around at recess and watch him. And all these kids got to perform at assemblies as well as sixth grade graduation. And I had one student, Michael, a brilliant student that didn't have many social skills or friends. And he snuck in one day and started tap dancing. And at sixth grade graduation, his parents came up to me and said, "How did you pull that one off?" And he got up there and he was awkward and wouldn't look at him and go, "What a dancer," but he made noise that just made him glow. So,
Question for you. You have extraordinary students, but I'm curious about what was your background creative genesis? We've got your bio, but it seems like you have a collective consciousness that knows how to tap into these people. Sorry, I had to go there.
I think we all have creative potential, and I know my background was special ed for years and years. I taught for 42 years, 25 of them were working with kids with special needs, and then when I was at TCC, I worked with ESL students in adult basic ed, and I found that if you tap into some of the creativity and tap into some of the things that they do really well, it sparks it. And so I was always an out-of-the-box teacher, and it was just the right way to go. And I've done that all through my 42 years.
Any other questions tonight? Yes, we have another here.
Can you say a few words about the music that you chose, and was it all like classic jazz? You mentioned Louis Armstrong, but
We
what
did
else did
Preservation
you play?
Hall Jazz Band and Louis Armstrong was the ones for that. And then when we were just doing and playing with it, I let kids pick the music that they wanted, because anything gave them a beat. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you for coming.
For sharing, because I'm alone. I'm a tap dancer. I perform. I learned theater and I had a nervous breakdown. And then my whole family, that was like in 1960 or something. 60. It was 1970. I mean, I won't age myself too much anyway. But my family gave up on me, and I helped build a house, and I was on my own, okay? I managed to get married, but I didn't have any awareness of who I was because my mother was a Holocaust victim, and I used to just please her all the time. I didn't have any awareness of who I was. Tap dancing and singing were what I needed more than anything in the world to be able to want to get going. So I just commend you. I mean, you know, I do what I do well now. You can be as organized as you want in this world, and it won't do any good if you don't know where to put it. for your own personality. So you're an inspiration to me because you love tap dancing. And for me, I couldn't live without it. I teach it, I've run classes, I'm a Zumba instructor, I'm an enhanced fitness trainer, all that stuff. I'm also retired, but I just want to thank you because it means everything to me, and there's an order to it, and that order has allowed me to be sane, even though I'm a highly creative and ultra-organized person who finds very little place where I really fit. And there are other people like me, and all I want to do is be there to help them. So I want to thank you for doing that for your students. I could tell you were. So it was really inspiring to me. Like I'm not alone. There you go.
Good question. Thank you.
Next, we're supposed to look at 2 short dance videos. Erik, would it be all right if Dick Stein went next? Yes? Okay. So Dick Stein has been a top 40 and country music DJ, late night telephone talk show host, commercial voice talent, advertising copywriter, excuse me, character model, bit part movie and commercials actor, window washer,
United States Senator,
line cook, and chimney sweep. He was on the air for 30 years as a jazz DJ, host producer of 2 long-running food and cooking features, and writer-director of the Jimmy Jazzoid live musical radio plays on KNKX, previously KPLU. Stein is married to jewelry designer and metalsmith Cheryl DeGroot, who first saw him perform this evening's poem several months before actually meeting him. She has prevailed on him to overcome his prodigious aptitude for idleness in order to offer tonight's performance. So we'll have Dick do his poem, and then we're going to watch 2 short dance videos. Dick.
thanks, Lynn. Let me just get all my stuff arranged here. Am I getting picked up? Yeah, I can tell. For those, this poem, I wrote this poem evenings when I was sweeping chimneys for a living, and I would come home covered with soot every night, and I just got the idea for this thing, and I would tap out a little bit of it on my Smith Corona portable. It took quite a while, and this was in the 70s. So and I haven't updated it, so it's sort of a time capsule. For those of you that were here at that time, you probably remember Ivan the Gorilla in the BNI, and these were the days with the aroma of Tacoma, and all that. So I think those are the only things I need to mention. So I call this a mock heroic epic, which it isn't really technically, but it begins with traditionally the invocation of the muse. So fasten your seatbelts, here we go. Rise now, perfume of old Tacoma, to upper strata float thy soma. Waft high, thou gas, to altitude extreme, compound the stuff that forms this dream. Well mixed the car and truck exhaust, with smokestack fume, no whiff is lost, of cigarette, cigar, or joint. All rise, the atmosphere anoint, the exhalation of 1,000 flues float o'er the dome to roil and fuse. Protean vapor this, not yet with form. The smoggy stew collects, is upward borne, and mixed full well, this manifolded gas compresses now to critic mass. The haze contracts, and now the fecund bomb explodes and births the muse. Let's get it on. Canto the First, Spanaloidia. Let's travel now where plaster fawns and auto hulks adorn the lawns, where shotgun blasts illumine the night, and extra large is still too tight, where cowgirl barmaids rope their tips as slack-jawed crackers strum their lips, where Twinkies chum the church buffet. Of thee I sing, O Spanaway. And in this realm there dwelt a maid of vast proportion, though never weighed. No earthly scale could heft that hulk. Her name was Mrs. Leonard Bulk. We'll leave her now, just for the nonce, and gaze upon another dunce, whose social set has always been, unlike Marge, ostentatiously thin. The two will meet, it's their fate. Come on, Muse, let's motivate. Did I leave my little box? Oh, well. A bullet o'er the leaden bay, the spirit scuds the tide. She sniffs commencement vapor, rich in chromium oxide. Thanks, Hoot. As close skims our surveying muse, she spies out fern bars purveying booze. To hordes of yuppies who network and run free, they palm their pilots and a yuppet's knee. Midst glass and brass, they know the route to twee saloons named Winkerdinks or I Am Cute. All rumps are logoed, their faces pallid. They cruise the waterfront in search of salad. Then hit the road past blasted rebel crews in Volvos, Saabs, and BMWs. With preachy brags stuck to their autos' tails, my trophy child's superior, and I heart Wales. Of Smarm and of a man I sing, young Jason Yupp, who did each thing to make VP by 27 and fully vest in corporate heaven. Eyes on the prize, he climbs the rungs. He sees a boss, but unfurls his tongue. His perfect hair is never mussed. Were baby bankers always thus? Of course they were. And just as far as can be seen, they're at the bar. No room to sit, they hike their pants. Then someone shouts, "An ambulance!" A lurch of lawyers rush for the door. But Jason knows that he wants more. He's drunk his fill, but still feels low. He knows the cure. He must get hopping. When yups feel yucky, yups go shopping. Next, interlude on a smokestack. From high upon the stacked bricks top, a handsome chimney sweep observes our fop. Put key to sob, he flees the liquid matinee to turn his wheels toward South Tacoma way. Now, looking south, the sweep observes Ms. Bulk's Ford truck slew through the curves. She's headed for the same locale where Jason's gone for his morale. He's off to shop titanium walks. She seeks gold numbers for her glazed burl clock. And on her bumper, the mantras run, I break for Jesus, and I love guns. Enough of that. That was my original chimney sweep hat. It took me a half an hour to vacuum it clean before. Okay, Canto the Third. Now, now she's on scene, and so is he, though neither does the other see, as both stroll in and give a cry of wonderment at B&I. A pharaoh's tomb, jam-packed with wares, where chainsaws nestle next to chairs. There's toilet cleaner, tents, and pipes, plus boats, white mice, and handy wipes. Wood stoves, down vests, some dolphin posters, electric socks, and hand-crank toasters. And in the cage, he counts the loot, the owner in gorilla suit. Lime green, the polyestered butt of Margie's pants, they smell of rut. Wine dark, her beer-stained tavern jacket, she bowls her way through retail's racket of whining brats and threatening moms, but none can slow this Amazon, as through the throng she plows her way and rams young Jason. Oh, fateful day. A scream of outrage departs his lips, as from the floor he views those hips that laid him low. You cow, he shrieks. Some gas escapes her nether cheeks and clears the crowd for yards around as to his feet proud Jason bounds. It's satisfaction I demand, you hayseed hick, you swollen gland. Marge regards him, gently purrs. The choice of weapons now is hers. You want a duel, young honey bun? That's demo derby, 1-on-1. The time is set for honors brawl. Location, the Tacoma Mall. The parking lot at break of dawn. The up agrees. It won't be long till Swedish steel beats Detroit iron. Can sprout-fed punk trounce 2-ton siren? A crowd collects. The word's gone out. They greet the duelists with a shout. Reporters interview the clods. The touts shout out the latest odds. Corn dogs, programs, vendors cry as rosy fingers light the sky. And look, above, a rotor's gleam. It's Chopper 7 on the scene with mobile mics and mini cams for instant replay, slam by slam. Now silence falls. The crowd grows still. It's time for Jason to bite the pill. He cowers in his compact car, but can't turn back. It's gone too far. With trembling heart, he summons pluck and gapes up at Marge's monster truck. Within his sob, he sees his foe, a V8 mill beneath her toe. 4 inches thick, her bumper's steel. She pops the clutch, huge tires squeal. Coal black the smoke in boiling stream. Like dragon's eyes, her fog lights gleam. 500 cubic inches pound and shake the blacktop killing ground. The superchargers shriek and whine as the mighty Ford rolls to the line. The flare goes up, the time is here. The duelists put their rides in gear. And now, like some enraged beast, Marge guns her pickup to the east. Jason follows, hanging with her. His nerves are twanging like a zither. As in he darts, bangs off a chunk of his own fender with a clunk. Her whip antenna rake the sky and thrum as Margie screams, "Die, yuppie scum!" and shoves the stick to compound low. She'll crush this punk like croissant dough. A yupster Viking in his Swedish ride, Jace lets her come, then scoots aside. Now doubles back, rips off a door, then slams the gas down to the floor. He'll end it now, prepares to assault her. But what's this? A sputter? His engine falters, then roars anew, now weakens, dies. Oh, faithless flivver, Jason cries. He's helpless now. He cannot move. His plight is one that won't improve. He rings the starter, curse the luck, then looks around. Where's that truck? And now, in mirror's view, he sees the monster pickup size increase. The alligator on his shirt shuts tight its eyes. It's gonna hurt. A crash like thunder, metal rends as V8 Ford slams Saab's rear end. And straight through the windshield, Jason flips and smites the pavement with his lips. A cable from Bulk's winch snakes out to reel him in, a human trout. Marge ropes him tight across her hood like a trophy elk, fresh from the wood. A silence falls, the punters stare as Marge roars off to her rustic lair, bearing Jason, trussed and mute. Her air horns bellow, triumphs toot. And deep in darkest Spanaland, a taxidermied trophy stands. Where once a yuppie's heart did knock, is now installed a glazed burl clock. The end. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
I'm ready.
That's what I thought.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thanks a lot, folks.
somehow my second page has disappeared. Next month's show, I think it's February 16. It would be the third Friday. And that show will be focused on travel. So Marcia Khan will be doing a show on Uganda. James Chicante and his wife Teresa Tavernero will be doing a show on Italy. And I'm not sure what the third leg of that triangle will be. So we hope you come back. So in closing tonight, we're going to show you 2 dance videos created by Lanny Lisa Lawrence. She would pick a song and then invite people she knew to dance to it, and then they would compose that into one video. And I think you'll really enjoy seeing these. Erik?
celebration across the nation, a chance for folks to meet. Those laughing and singing and music swinging, dancing in the street, Philadelphia, PA. Baltimore, Louisiana. Don't forget the Motor City. On the streets of Brazil. Back in the USSR. Don't matter where you are. All we need is music, sweet music. There'll be music everywhere. There'll be swing, swaying, the records playing, the dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter what you wear, just as long as you are there. So come on, every guy, grab a girl, everywhere, around the world, every day. The dancing in the street, way down in LA, every day, dancing in the street, crossing China too, me and you, dancing in the street. Don't you know they'll be dancing? Don't you know they'll be dancing? Dancing in the street. Don't you know they'll be dancing in the street? We're gonna be dancing, dancing like they did last summer. We're gonna be dancing, dancing like there's no tomorrow.
Any questions?
So those were created by Lanny, Lisa, Lawrence, and she died about 2 years ago. And she started the project at the beginning of COVID for entertainment for all of us. So every once in a while at Tripod, we show some of these. They're so joyous. Thanks for coming.
Hello. One more thing.
One more thing.
I'm going to be putting some photos on my website. There's nothing on there right now, but if you check back in a few days, minishewsphotography.com. So if you want to see some more of those photos that I wasn't able to show you tonight, they will be up there. Okay, thank you. Great. Have a great night.